And here's a look at tonight's starting lineups brought to you by I Love New York. What a great vacation. ILoveNewYork.com. Darnell Wilson, Joe Young, John Poposky, Chuck Harris, and Kevin Downey for the Griffs. And for Marist, up from Poughkeepsie, James Smith, Ryan Stilfen, Carl Hood, Will Whittington, and Jared Jordan. Tonight's coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports and The Rock. Mike McDonald going with the casual look tonight. His club with a 9-19 record off of the win last night. And on the right, Matt Brady, a 1987 Siena College graduate. In his second year as head coach of Marist, The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC. And we are set for action. Game number 3 of our triple header here tonight at the Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. We're glad you're with us. And the winner of this one makes it to the MAAC semifinals tomorrow night to take on Iona. Wilson and Smith tip it up, and it's the Red Foxes in their home white uniforms with the ball first.
We talk about the fact that these two teams are similar. What they both do is spread you out. They're very skilled. Both teams have terrific ball movement as well as player movement.
Ryan Stilfen back to Jared Jordan, the nation's top playmaker. He tried the pick and roll alley-oop to Stilfen, but to no avail. Here are the keys of the ball game brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
And Canisius, they've got to defend the 3, and then they've got to disrupt the rhythm. This is a Marist team that once they get going in their half court is extremely good. Marist, they've got to create turnovers. They did in their win, forced 17 Canisius turnovers and scored 22 off those turnovers.
Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. Ball coming our way. It bounces up into the second row of media. Freddie Coleman, nice hands back there. ESPN radio celebrity. Catches out of bounds, and now a high five. He's here to watch Marist. He worked down in the Mid-Hudson Valley for several years. Jared Jordan pops the 3 from the head of the key.
And that's the biggest difference in his game this year, showing you the confidence. If you're going to play underneath that high ball screen, he'll step back and take the 3. Would not have taken that shot last year.
Well, he's at 37%, and so it is a good enough shot in his repertoire that you really have to pay attention.
And it really forces teams to get out and guard him out on the perimeter, and that's when he gets himself into the lane.
With the shot clock at 15, Joe Young comes up short on the 3. Stilfen the rebound. Jordan with his head on a swivel as always.
And you've got to keep him out of the lane. Once he gets himself into the paint, boy, does he put pressure on the rest of your defense.
Whittington, catch and shoot, way off the mark. That's an air ball, and he says to Jordan, that's my bad, my mistake. But he's somebody who needs to shoot the 3 for Marist to be successful.
But he's got to take good shots. That was a forced shot with Harris all over him, defending out on the perimeter.
3-0 Marist on top in the early going. The Golden Griffins trying to ride the momentum of last night's first round upset victory.
In that game, they really set the tone in the first half when they shot it at 70%. That guy didn't miss a shot last night. He was a perfect 5 for 5 from the field was Wilson. Misses his first 2 here tonight.
Darnell Wilson is a junior captain from Wayne, Michigan. Turnover forced. Young has numbers. He'll pull up from 14, and he can't get the roll. That's Ryan Stilfen with another rebound. One of the multi-dimensional players for the Red Foxes, and like with most of the Marist starters, they can each do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they've got terrific balance, and certainly Stilfen was a big factor in each of their 2 games. They want to try and pound the basketball inside, take advantage of size mismatches inside.
Ball tipped out, back to Jordan, fakes to Smith, then goes to Smith, who dunks it home.
And that possession shows you the size advantage. Able to get it into Stilfen, and then there's Smith on the finish at 7 foot and Stilfen at 6'8". Certainly they've got the advantage inside. Marist got to figure out ways to get the ball inside to those 2 guys.
Kevin Downey kicks it out to Young, who tries again, and again he misses badly.
After shooting it so well in the first half last night, shooting blanks here to start the game off tonight.
Darnell Wilson in the MAAC at 6'6" with his long arms and his agility usually is able to make up for any height difference that he might face, as Whittington gets his shot blocked by Wilson. But in this matchup tonight with Smith, he's facing a 7-footer, 6 inches taller, with very good agility.
And Smith can step you out on the perimeter as well and knock down 3. So certainly a different matchup.
Downey drives on Whittington and overpowers him, but missed the shot. And Downey was the last to touch, he and Hood, after the rebound. But the Red Foxes will have it.
We talked about the fact that Jordan now much more aggressive offensively, looking for a zone shot. You get behind that high ball screen, he's going to knock it down, and if you let him get into the lane, he will wreak havoc. You see he draws the defense and is patient enough. Didn't give up the basketball too soon for Smith, who may have traveled. Instead gets it deep on the post, able to just elevate and dunk it.
And typically, as a coach, you would tell your point guard, don't leave your feet, but he's one of those guys who can do it, and he never panics and always seems to make the right decision.
And you can see why Stilfen averaged 19.5 against Canisius. That's a tough matchup inside for Downey, giving up too much size in the low post.
Well, we talked about some good high field goal percentages. Stilfen at 58%, fourth in the league. Anthony Bird gets his shot blocked by the big 7-footer Smith.
On our last game, we saw Iona rush out to an 11-0 start and then ride that first initial burst of energy all the way to a blowout. Canisius got to settle down 0 for 9 from the field, but they've got to figure out a way to keep the basketball out of the paint.
And again, you can see the matchups. Stilfen 6'8", Downey 6'3". So Canisius giving up several inches on many of these matchups.
And now Downey trying to post up inside as Whittington has the defensive assignment.
And that takes us to our first media timeout. We'll take a break with 15:01 to go first half. And Jared Jordan and the Red Foxes off to a quick start here in Albany against Canisius. It's 7-0 Foxes.
What are you looking for in a college? Cutting-edge academic programs, a faculty that's second to none, great recreational opportunities and residence halls? How about a college that will provide you with the education you need to become a leader in your profession and in your community? If that's what you're looking for in a college, you'll find it at Canisius. To learn more about Canisius College, call 1-800-843-1517 or visit us on the web at canisius.edu. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
7-0, Marist on top. A quick start for the Red Foxes, and now it's time to take a look at the series history brought to you by Pontiac. Canisius leads all time 12-7. Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA and the MAAC. And Rob, as you said earlier, these two teams split during the regular year. And when you look on paper, you think, well, Matt Brady's club is the number 3 seed. Canisius is the number 9 seed. But the Griffs did go into Poughkeepsie and beat Marist earlier this year. But in that game, it was Corey Herring who was the catalyst. And Herring is out this weekend with injury.
Matt Brady in his second season here at Marist. Terrific year here this year at 18-9. And you're right, Corey Herring had a monster game up in Poughkeepsie. 28 points and 9 rebounds. And certainly he's a guy that can handle the size inside. He's a good enough athlete at 6'5" to give him just another body to bang inside against Smith and Stilfen.
And without him in the lineup tonight, there's a big danger that Stilfen and Smith, their terrific 1-2 punch on the offensive end, might be able to go off. And in that second game, Stilfen did, as you say, have himself a big game against the smaller Golden Griffins. He had 22 points and 13 rebounds to be the catalyst in the Red Fox win.
And even Smith in the second half, he had all 10 of his points in the second when they got it inside in the paint. There's Popovsky. He was the X factor last night, not just because he hit the game-winning layup at the end of the game, but certainly he was the guy right from the start, had a solid game, 22 points, and got it done from beyond the three-point line.
And so Canisius on the board, down 7-2. Nice catch by Stilfen, but he missed the layup. And with Harris down on the floor, he didn't see the ball coming. Stilfen picked it up off his opponent's hip and laid it in.
4 blue jerseys in the lane off that missed shot, but it was the white jersey that came up with the offensive rebound. They have not had an answer for Stilfen in either of the first 2 meetings. Haven't had the answer for Stilfen here in the first 6 minutes either.
Ola Matty sets the screen. Anthony Bird creating some space and a nice shot in the paint for number 33.
And Mike McDonald got a lift off his bench last night. Wackerly came in. Matty gave him a little bit of time, as did Bird. So Canisius not a team known for its depth, especially with Herring out, getting a lift off of it.
Hood with a bad pass, stolen away. Popovsky with it. Thing I like most about Canisius in this end-of-the-year run that they've put together, it's been their seniors, Popovsky and Downey, who have really played the best.
Especially with the game on the line.
Smith had it go through his hands. Nice hustle by Matty to make that a tough catch.
Absolutely. Running the floor, getting back, not allowing Smith to get a dunk out in transition.
There's Popovsky going out as we take another look.
And you know, Jared Jordan's always looking to push the basketball ahead. Uncharacteristically, he's already got 3 turnovers here in the early going, trying to force it a couple times.
Downey, nice up fake. And around the rim and out.
Tell you what, there's a lid on that rim. There's a lid in the first half when Niagara was shooting down at that end in the last game. Canisius right now unable to score it.
Whistling a foul off the ball. Miles Orman for the Red Foxes picks up personal.
You talk about this Canisius run to end the season. One of the reasons why they've been able to win a couple games coming down the stretch. 4 out of their last 6. They've shot the basketball extremely well. They've been above 50% in 5 out of their last 7 games. As we said, Marist kicking it around, including their leader, Jared Jordan, with 3 turnovers.
Ben Farmer's come into the game, number 22 in white for Marist. Harris with the post, and the tip coming from the weak side. I think it was Bird who got his hand up above the rim to knock it home.
Well, when you come off the bench, what they're looking for from Bird is a little energy, and they've gotten it.
Jared Jordan, up fake, able to tip it out to his teammate. Pass deflected, and Orman made the mistake of going after it and touching it, so it goes back to Canisius. Well, after falling behind 7-0, Anthony Bird and the Golden Griffins have themselves right back in the ball game, down 9-6 early.
450 years of Jesuit tradition are woven into a Fairfield University education, an education characterized by academic excellence and service to the community. Fairfield's success is fostered by a caring faculty that knows their students as individuals. Located just an hour from New York City, Fairfield University combines a park-like campus conducive to learning with the city's cultural and career advantages. Fairfield University, where education reflects the challenges and opportunities of a changing world.
9-6, Marist with the lead over Canisius. And as we celebrate the 25-year anniversary of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, we take a look back at a great moment in Marist history.
A memorable send-off for the Dunking Dutchman. In Rick Smith's final game for Marist College, the school retired his number 45, and fittingly, Smiths poured in that same number, 45, a school record, in a season-ending win over St. Francis.
Somebody who's been around the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference for a long time, Jeff Rulin, the head coach of the Iona Gales. On the phone, who do you think he's talking to, Rob?
Who knows, but certainly got to be happy with his team's effort, although, you know, with Jeff, you'd never know it. Certainly doesn't show it on his face. Got that stoic look on the sideline.
Brett Wackerly off the bench. He has tied the game at 9, so a 9 score after falling behind 7-0 to begin with.
And that's just his 3rd 3 on the season. 3 for 20 from beyond the three-point line, but stepping up with confidence. We saw it last night. He came into the game late with the game still on the line. He let a couple fly from 3 as if those were shots that he was supposed to take and make.
And we saw him play the role of playmaker very well last night. A couple of terrific passes and really brought some energy off the bench for Canisius. And you talked about the energy of Anthony Bird, and now Wackerly does it as well for Mike McDonald.
And Mike McDonald said, hey, if you're going to win 4 games in 4 days, you've got to get something from his bench. He's gotten that.
Shane McNamara, the 6'8 sophomore from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with the traveling violation.
And unlike Niagara, who got off to such the bad start in the last game, Canisius has settled down, and all of a sudden they've got an opportunity to take the lead after being down 7-0.
And a wasted opportunity for Marist. When you're the heavy favorite, the high seed, you see the turnovers. They have wasted the opportunity to put Canisius out early. And the longer the Griffs are able to hang around, the more they believe that, hey, we can pull another upset here tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we said that one of the keys was for Marist to create turnovers. We didn't mean create them for themselves. There they get a turnover. In the game that Mike McDonald's team won, they turned it over just 7 times. You see Mike, longtime head coach, as well as a longtime assistant coach here at Canisius. So in the win, they turned it over 7 times. In their loss, turned it over 17 times. Got to take care of the basketball.
Well, the Red Foxes are typically a team that do not force turnovers. And like you say, they got to make sure they take care of the ball. Farmer with a nice offensive rebound. And, well, the recipient is Shea McNamara.
And the reason why they have the lead with those 7 turnovers is they've dominated the paint early on. Offensive rebounding and punching it into the post.
Now, Smith and Stilfen are both out of the game for Marist now. Going with the reserves up front. Popovsky able to get the shot up on the rim, and he'll shoot 2 with the foul.
Well, Popovsky known as a catch-and-shoot guy, but wasn't a catch-and-shoot last night. It was a catch, take maybe an extra step, and then a dribble for the layup to finish it last night. Once again here trying to be aggressive, put the ball to the floor, and try and create something. See the bench looking for the walk. Loyola may have been looking for the walk last night, as he looked like he may have gotten away with one before he put the ball to the floor, but nobody remembers that because the ball went in, and Canisius able to get the win on that layup last night.
Downey replaced in the lineup by Harris. And in watching Popovsky play, just like the way he drove to the basket last night, and the way he just drove to the basket there, he, to me, plays basketball like he's a hockey player. And he is a Canadian. He's from Ontario, just north of the border. And I'm guessing he played some hockey as a kid, the way he plays basketball.
Hey.
Farmer with the finger roll. Oh, I got it. A. Yeah, hoser.
Well, it's late. It's a long day. We're in 3 games. Took you a while. You've been slow here lately at the beginning of the game. Canisius starting to warm up.
Yeah, they waited until about 10:15 to get going.
That's right.
Harris is fouled. On the way up, the personal foul called against Ben Farmer, the 6'5 sophomore from Clinton, Connecticut.
And Harris has the ability to get by people and score it. And without Herring, you'd think that they need scoring from Harris. Didn't need it last night when he was held scoreless, but had a good, solid all-around game with 6 assists to go along with 5 rebounds.
Matt Brady, in his second year after an 11-year hitch as an assistant coach at St. Joseph's, and he parlayed that terrific season a couple of years ago that St. Joe's had into his first head coaching job when he got hired in Poughkeepsie at Marist College.
Able to ride that great backcourt, Jameer Nelson and Delonte West. And certainly both those guys have credited Matt Brady with working on their shot. One of the things that he really has done a great job with. And right now, Canisius showing you a little different look defensively, going to the zone. Played a good amount of zone last night. Mike McDonald said he was worried about playing zone, though, against this Marist team because they shoot it so well.
Anthony Bird dribbles around Jared Jordan. Darnell Wilson up and over Orman, but he can't get it. Orman tips, and Marist has the basketball down 13-10. Or rather, up 13-10. Jordan makes it 16-10 as he connects from the right corner.
A little jab to get the defense off balance. Wilson was coming out to challenge that shot, and as soon as Jared Jordan gave him the jab step, got him on his heels.
Wackerly uses the Wilson screen. Harris passed it too late for Wilson, who had already turned to box out, and so it's a turnover, and the ball goes back to Marist.
Here's this nice ball fake right there. The jab step to get the defense off balance, and then he's able to step right in to the deep 3. He's got 6 points on the strength of 2 deep 3s, but the 3 turnovers, certainly Marist has not gotten things going offensively because they've kicked it around.
And Jordan's now within 12 assists of the all-time single season record in Marist College history. Now we get a little extracurricular stuff. Stilfen was on the ground and Popovsky was slow in getting up. And with a knee in the back, Stilfen, who has battled some back trouble, doesn't need that sort of thing.
Well, you said Popovsky was a little bit like a hockey player.
Yep.
In the boards there, you know, in the corner.
A little extra stuff
Get a
going
little
on.
extra going. And Stilfen's got to be careful there, even if you are getting a little extra down below. He's too important to this team, especially with the matchup problems that he creates inside in the post against this smaller Canisius team.
Farmer, Smith, Jordan, Stilfen, and Hood on the floor for the Red Foxes. Here's Stilfen working on Matty. Popovsky came down to help out a little bit off of Jordan, who backs it out. Back in they go to Stilfen. And the double team comes from Harris. The pass to Hood. Farmer, mid-range jump shot, good ball movement for the Red Foxes, and they've got the 8-point lead back.
And certainly when they get things going in the half-court offense, it all is created with that great ball reversal, ball movement, everybody getting a touch.
Wilson called for a travel. Canisius finds itself down 8. 18-10, the Red Foxes over the Golden Griffins here in the first half.
Welcome to Marist College, a liberal arts college bridging the traditions of the past with the tools of the future. Drawing inspiration from the historical, cultural, and artistic heritage of the Hudson River Valley, and supported by a unique partnership with its neighbor, IBM, Marist College holds fast to the timeless values of its rich heritage while embracing advanced technology in the service of education.
Sir, excuse me, I'm going to have to wand you.
Oh, drop the bag, sir?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to have to take that.
I'm sorry, what?
What is that, sir?
Sierra Mist.
Thank you.
Please hand it over, sir. You just... Your wand? You're just going wah, wah when you put the thing over the Sierra.
No, I'm not, sir. Buzz, we got a troublemaker.
Just give me the word, Wendy. Oh, I'm good.
I know most of you just graduated high school last year, or maybe you've been working for a while, seen some things, done some things, but nothing has prepared you for what's going to happen now. We're going to set goals for each of you, way up here, here, way up here, and then we're going to help you exceed them, believe it. And when finished, you're going to have not just a degree, you'll be a different person, a better person. Welcome to Iona.
Aspire, achieve. Iona. Call Iona College at 1-800-231-IONA.
Marist 18, Canisius 10. And here's the Broadway Marketing mind-bending trivia question. It's appropriate to this time of year. When was the last time someone scored over 30 points in a MAAC tournament game? Broadway Marketing mind-bending branded solutions. And I don't know as I would have come up with this one. Of course, I got the answer in front of me, but I would have gone in a different direction, I think.
It was last season, quarterfinals.
My short-term memory is not what it used to be.
It was 7-8 years ago, I could understand, but it was last year. Guy who's still playing in the tournament.
Well,
Giving you lots of clues here.
I would have gone with somebody who was in last year's tournament, but is not in this year's tournament. See the Red Foxes on the run to get the 8-point lead back. James Smith with a big height advantage, and he takes advantage, hitting over Matty.
And that's a tough shot right there. Fall away, turning away from the basket. And usually when he knocks down his first couple shots, he gets himself on a roll.
Downey. They get the ball inside to Wilson, who goes with the quick release over Stilfen. And James Smith, the junior out of MAAC, with the rebound.
And last night we saw Wilson attacking the rim. This time tonight we've seen him a couple times fading away from the basket. Got to go strong.
Smith working with his back to the basket. Up and over Maddie once again. And a chance for a three-point play.
Well, no fadeaway this time. We talked about the fact when Smith makes his first couple shots, Matt Brady says now all of a sudden he starts playing with a lot more energy. This one was a tough one. Stepping away, spinning away from the basket, off balance, even ends up on the floor at the back end of that. This time, though, being aggressive. No fadeaway on this one. Once again, takes the defense into the lane, little drop step, and the finish through the contact off the glass.
And while we've got a timeout, a chance to show you, in case you missed it, one of the great moments from this MAAC tournament already. Earlier tonight, at the free throw line, St. Peter's senior guard Keetron Clark scored his 3,000th career point. The folks from Jersey City loved it. His mom loved it. And that helped the Peacocks knock off Siena. He hit the game-winning shot right there. And then Siena was unable to knock down a potential game winner at the other end. Mike Beers missed from the corner. And then his putback went behind the backboard. And so Keetron Clark has won 2 games this weekend, looking to win 2 more, and hoping to finish the storybook weekend in style.
And St. Peter's has won those 2 games without Kiki going off. He had 19 points in the first game against Ryder, had 22 here tonight, going over the 3,000 point mark. But you know that he's capable of going for 30 or 40 any time out.
James Smith now has 7 after the 3-point play. Downey knocks it down. That's a big shot. Cuts it back down to a 10-point ball game. 6 minutes to go in the half.
And he's got the knack of making big shots. None bigger than last night. Down by 3, a guarded 3 to tie it up late.
Here comes Downey, who just scored his first points of the night. A guy who is not offered any other Division I scholarships. Harris with the bucket.
Made good use of a redshirt season. Worked on his game and has just had a very solid, consistent career. Averaging around 15 points each of the last 3 seasons.
And he's already got his degree in biology, so he has really taken advantage of that scholarship offered to him by Mike McDonald. And there's Downey with the rebound. He's a Western New York native, kid from Livonia. And so Mike McDonald took a chance on him, and it has paid off and then some. Downey averages 15 points, 5 rebounds, nearly 4 assists per game. And he's able to find his own shot. Unable to make that one. Harris from the foul line connects.
Well, after their offense went south for a while, now all of a sudden Canisius with back-to-back baskets, and that forces Matt Brady to take a timeout to try and break the run.
The lead from 13 back down to 6 on a 7-0 run.
Well, here's Downey. His team really struggling offensively. Nothing going on. Tough 3, guarded. And it certainly was deep, but he's got that kind of range. Harris, ball bounces right into his hands. Able to step right to the foul line for the easy one.
And the one Canisius player who's not gotten involved offensively is Darnell Wilson, who averages 13 points per game. He has missed his opportunities.
Yeah, because he hasn't been aggressive, hasn't attacked the rim. Instead, we've seen him fade away a couple times inside.
All right, let's get back to our Broadway Marketing mind-bending trivia question that I didn't know. Rob knew it. Who was the last player in the MAAC tournament to score 30 points in a single game? And it came against St. Peter's last year. Steve Bird of Iona went for 36. Broadway Marketing mind-bending branded solutions. I was immediately drawn to the name Jerry Johnson, the former star for Ryder. But it was not.
And certainly it looked like Stevie Bird was going to put up another 30-point performance. Had 23 early in the game. We got a little bit of a rest there in their win against Niagara. Ended up with 25.
Gerald Carter just off the bench, and the freshman from Harlem gets himself into the scoring column. He only averages 2 points per game, and there's a burst of energy for the Red Foxes.
What he does, though, is the offensive rebounds, and he puts the ball to the floor and attacks the rim as he did on that possession.
Offensive foul against Wilson. An illegal screen call as he and Ryan Stilfen.
Carter puts the ball to the floor. A little extra step and a hop. May have gotten away with the walk as he covers a lot of ground, but aggressively attacking the rim. Matt Brady says he still has a good future. He said the problem is that it's been hard to get Hood off the floor, and then also when Farmer has been on the floor with his fine play, it's been hard to find Carter minutes.
Downey hammers Stilfen, who will shoot 2 when we come back to the Pepsi Arena in Albany. The number 3 seed, Marist Red Foxes, with an 8-point lead.
What are you looking for in a college? Cutting-edge academic programs, a faculty that's second to none, great recreational opportunities and residence halls? How about a college that will provide you with the education you need to become a leader in your profession and in your community? If that's what you're looking for in a college, you'll find it at Canisius. To learn more about Canisius College, call 1-800-843-1517 or visit us on the web at canisius.edu. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
Canisius trailing by 8 late in the first half. And as we've been talking about, this is the 25th anniversary season for the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. And we turn back the clock to remember in 1995, Canisius participated in the NIT, losing to Virginia Tech. The Griffs eventually lost to Penn State in the consolation game as well, but they made it all the way to the Final Four after knocking off Seton Hall, after beating Bradley, and after beating Wazoo, Washington State.
They used that NIT run as a springboard the following year when they won the MAAC championship and were able to advance on to the NCAA tournament in '96 with John Beilein at the helm.
Darrell Farley, Michael Meeks, a couple of the great names in Canisius basketball history, a big part of that run. Craig Wise was the year before, wasn't part of the NCAA tournament team, but they did a nice job of putting up a lot of wins out there in Western New York. Stilfen, meanwhile, puts up a brick from the line and actually smiles to himself. Coach Brady's not smiling.
Yeah, that won't get a smile from a coach.
At least that time it was a soft miss, not a hard miss.
Certainly had a chance, but Stilfen, not a very good foul shooter, just 57%, something he's going to have to work on in the offseason.
Downey loses it through the double team, and here comes Carter, tackled from behind, and we've got an intentional foul. Joe Young making the bad play.
And that was an easy one. All 3 officials with their hands
I was
up.
doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to let them go there. You want to try to get back in and get involved with the play, but now all of a sudden it's going to be 2 shots plus possession of the basketball. That is just not a smart play.
First foul on Young, and the 5th against Canisius. Now there's a seal on that basket, Rob, from the free throw line. That's 3 straight misses for Marist in just the last minute. Make it 4 in a row. And while the Red Foxes have some terrific perimeter shooters, they are not particularly good from the free throw line.
Which sometimes, you know, that's a perplexing stat.
Yes.
You figure the way they shoot the basketball that all of a sudden they're going to be very good from the foul line. Not so. Oof. 2 for 9. We talked about Matt Brady and the fact that he teaches the art of shooting so well. Maybe he needs to stop the game, get out there and work with some guys at the foul line.
Well, it is late night, going on quarter to 11, and both teams kind of sleepwalking, at least from the free throw line.
Absolutely, and sleepwalking here in this game. Mike McDonald's team not getting anything going on the offensive end, just 17 points, but they're still only down by 8.
Well, that'll get that 33% up. Kevin Downey taking it strong to the basket. He's got 5. And it's back to a 6-point ball game.
And he's got a great knack of bouncing off people when he gets himself into the lane. Little shoulder in, creates a little contact and separation.
Now with this game tonight, he has passed Ray Hall for the school record for most consecutive games started. Whittington for 3.
Can't double off him. They get caught in the paint. Double off whoever you want. Do not leave him open. He's too good of a 3-point shooter and a guy that can really get on a run.
And Whittington has just tied the Marist College single season record for 3-point shots. And whose record did he tie?
His own.
His own. Up ahead to Smith with the finger roll.
Well, that's a little burst for Marist. Downey was looking for contact. Ball fake, got the defender in the air, was leaning in, trying to get himself 3 shots from the foul line, and instead it turns into an easy bucket for Smith at the other end.
Smith leads all scores right now. It's an 11-point Red Fox lead. Harris, great burst of speed, and the layup went right around Stilfen for 2.
And here's where Canisius coming down the stretch of the game. Stretch of the first half here. Just got to play good, solid defense. No need to double, no need to gamble. Just get good, solid defensive stops.
Carter, nice feed to Smith, who throws it down.
Well, he threw down Wilson initially to come up with the post position and then threw it down on the dunk. Got away with one.
11 for Smith. Under 90 seconds to go in the first half. Downey looks off Whittington and then puts up a terrible looking shot.
And this has been a terrible last couple minutes here for Canisius. Got the lead down to 8, had an opportunity to cut into it. Instead, they've squandered that opportunity.
Now Stilfen taking advantage of the height differential, and the combination of Smith and Stilfen inside just eating up Canisius.
Couple bad offensive possessions for Canisius, and then Marist takes advantage, pounding the basketball inside to the paint each of the last 3 times.
Those two have combined for 17 of the 34 points, and here comes Stilfen flying into the front court, but he slows it down and waits for his point guard, Jared Jordan.
It's a nice security blanket when you can put the basketball back in his hands.
Well, I talked in the last game about how Ricky Soliver would be my first pick in a pickup game. If Jordan was out there, I'm not sure he wouldn't be my first pick.
Again, if you want shots,
yep,
he's going to get you them.
You can tell what kind of player I am. I want the ball passed to me. If I'm picking Soliver and Jordan. Smith loses it to Stilfen. 16 seconds left in the half.
Got to be aware of time and score. Pull it out.
Popovsky doesn't care about the time and score. He fires it up and looks pretty good doing it.
See if they get away with it, though.
There's a steal by Harris. 3 seconds, and he's fouled at midcourt by Jared Jordan. So it certainly has worked out for the Griffs.
Not a foul shooting opportunity right here. Carter with a good kick out on the double. As we said, you can't leave Whittington alone, able to step up and knock down the 3. Here's Smith working it inside, clearing some space, throwing down the defender, and then throwing it down with the dunk.
How about the entry pass from 40 feet away right to Wilson, but he couldn't connect, and then he gives a little extra forearm to Stilfen as we head to the locker rooms.
And that's the way the first half went for Canisius. Missed opportunities, didn't play well. Certainly James Smith has. He's been a presence inside. He and Stilfen have been the story in the paint.
The third-seeded Red Foxes look like it as they have taken a commanding lead over Mike McDonald's Golden Griffins at halftime.
It's a college in the city, a college in the country.
It's big.
It's small.
It's modern.
Traditional. It's Frisbee on the quad. It's big-time basketball at the Garden.
It's the best of all worlds.
Manhattan College. A world-class faculty and student body on a beautiful, quiet campus, minutes from the center of everything.
So come be a part of it. Manhattan College.
The best of all worlds.
We're ready for the start of the second half here in Albany. 34-24. We revisit our Star Watch. Downey with 5 points, Jordan with 6, but it's been the Red Foxes with the upper hand from the start. Popovsky, Young, Downey, Wilson, and Harris, the starting 5 for the Griffs, and a quick job inside to get Downey on the board here in the second half and cut it back to an 8-point game.
And they've got to get something going offensively. As we said, 36% in the first half. Marist has been able to pound the basketball inside to Stilfen and Smith. That's been the difference.
And then Downey steals it away from Stilfen.
As we said, though, Downey, the senior, he and Popovsky down the stretch when Canisius has won 4 out of 6 games. It's been those seniors who have made plays. Downey scores it inside at the other end and then forces the turnover with some solid defense.
Now you can see in the first 50 seconds of this second half, Kevin Downey doesn't want his college career to end here tonight at the Pepsi Arena.
Yeah, coming out with energy, something they did not have to start the game. Wilson with some energy, just missed the shot inside. 0 for 6 from the field.
He just does not look comfortable at the offensive end so far tonight. We talked so much last night, Rob, about how well he finishes. And obviously, if you're a 60% shooter, you have a good handle on getting the ball through the hole in close. But he's not shown any of that tonight.
Not even when he had an opportunity for a clean look at the dunk.
Jordan with the highlight fake, but he couldn't quite finish. The ball trickled off the rim.
The great ball fake to get everybody thinking he's passing the basketball. And why not? Here's this play by Wilson. He does everything, gets himself all the way into the lane, and then he just takes off too far from the rim. You cannot miss that shot.
And we've even seen him take off quite a ways from the rim and be able to reach out and dunk it in games past, but not there.
But at least he showed some energy and was attacking the rim. In the first half, he was fading away, getting bumped off his spot. Canisius got a lot more energy to start things off here in the second half. To keep that energy, though, you've got to score and have some things go your way.
Shot clock at 5. Downey. Wilson. And he doesn't get the roll. That's a little bit out of his range, but with the shot clock down, not that bad of a shot.
No, got to take it. Those are 2 good shots he misses. You hit those, all of a sudden you're on a run. You've cut the lead down to 4. Instead, it's at 8, and then you pick up a quick foul at the other end.
So Wilson picks up the personal for bodying up James Smith.
There's nothing like success to keep the energy going. You come out, and certainly Mike McDonald fired up his team in the locker room, but now you've got to come out, show the energy, and have something to show for it. And all of a sudden, you don't have anything to show for it. Instead, you're in the hole, another point.
The third-team All-MAAC guard, Will Whittington from Kingwood, Texas, knocks down the 3.
And sometimes, you know, everybody's looking at coaches running around on the sideline, all of that. You've got to execute to keep the energy going.
The 2-point shot is no good, and Smith with a rebound for Marist.
Everybody can jump around, run up and down, and if you don't make shots and finish plays off, all of a sudden you're going to lose the energy. That's exactly what happened to Canisius. Energy zapped out with the missed dunk and the missed wide-open 10-footer.
And now this half is being called pretty closely. Handcheck called against Popovsky, his second, and the second here against the Golden Griffins. Olam Matty in for Darnell Wilson, who gets a little encouragement from his coach on his way to the bench.
Tell him hang in there. Can't get any worse than it's been so far for Wilson. And they need him to step back in the next time he's on the floor, bring the energy, and start knocking down some shots.
Stilfen couldn't handle the pass, and so the ball turns back over to Canisius. The Golden Griffins have won 3 of their last 5, 4 of their last 6. That includes last night's first-round victory over Fairfield on Popovsky's buzzer-beating finger roll. One of the signature moments of the 2006 MAAC tournament. So far, probably the signature moment. Joe Young gets his first 2 points of the night.
Guy who had a good game last night with 10 points, including that big 3. Got the shooter's roll, albeit a bounce about 30 feet in the air as it fell late in the game.
Yep. Well, in last night's game, Canisius shot 59%. Tonight, they are shooting 36%.
And again, in the run, the reason why they've won games coming down the stretch is because they've shot the basketball so well. Got to get something going offensively.
Now the Red Foxes have to hurry just a bit. Whittington back to Stilfen, who spots up from 20, and he buries it.
A great ball movement, unselfish play. Nobody panics. Everybody gets a touch. That's why it's so difficult. Try to go zone, give them a different look. They pass the basketball so well and get great movement.
4 minutes into the second half, it's a 12-point Red Foxes lead. Downey fouled by Carl Hood. There's a good look at a young man who was a high school teammate of University of Texas star quarterback Vince Young. He picks up the personal foul, and we go to break with 15:58 left to go in the second half. The Marist Red Foxes with Ryan Stilfen raining down a 3-point shot with a 12-point lead over the Griffs. 40-28, Marist with the lead over Canisius early in the second half here in Albany. And we've talked about the fact that when the Red Foxes are successful at the offensive end, they have a lot of ball rotation.
Oh, good movement. They got to make sure that everybody gets a touch on this possession. Skip pass, they spread you out. They certainly have the skilled players to do such. And when they spread you out, it all starts with Jordan. Everybody unselfish, and then Stilfen, a guy not known for his 3-point shooting, just 3 of 13 on the season, but when you get the good open look late in the shot clock, you got to step up and deliver.
As a team, the Red Foxes 5 out of 13 from beyond the arc. Will Whittington is the guy you think of first when you think about three-pointers at Marist College. He, with his second tonight, broke his own single-season three-point record. And quite likely, Whittington next year as a senior will have an opportunity to break it once again, because he and Jared Jordan will both be back. They are both juniors and have played very well together the last couple of years. And you've got to figure next year the sky's the limit with those two.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at a number of teams with guys coming back, certainly led by Manhattan with their terrific sophomore class, and Devin Austin as well. But certainly Marist bringing a ton back. The only real senior of note that they lose is Carl Hood. Not the same thing for Canisius. Mike McDonald will not only lose this guy, Kevin Downey, who's been such a rock-solid part of the program the last 4, actually 5 years with his red shirt, but also Popovsky, who's had a solid senior season as well.
And the thing about Carl Hood, who is, like you say, the senior from Houston, Texas, foul off the ball underneath. While statistically he doesn't overwhelm you at 8 points and 5 rebounds per game, Fox's head coach Matt Brady says he does so many other things that don't show up in the stat sheet that don't just overlook the fact that next year he will be difficult to replace.
Absolutely. And he also says he's such an improved player from last year to this year. Certainly one of the better defenders in the league, and turnovers way down and making good solid plays. Last year he'd make a good play and then back it up with a negative play. Instead, this year, just so much more consistent.
And he brings such an athletic quality to a team, the Red Foxes, that aren't really known for that. He is the one guy who really goes up and elevates over the rim and can really get the crowd going at the McCann Center with a big dunk. Downey feeling it. He's into double figures now to lead the Griffs with 12 points.
Offensive rebound opportunity. If Canisius could just get something going behind the play of Downey. 12 points now, 4 or 9 from the floor. They got to back it up with stops. That's what they did last night. Loyola got on a run, stretched it out in the second half. Looked like they were going to run away with the game. All of a sudden, Canisius settled in because they started playing some defense.
Ola Matty passes to Popovsky, guarded by Jordan. Downey fouled with the entry pass, and he was already thinking touch pass to a teammate in the corner because he knew he had a lot of traffic behind him.
He knew he was off balance. Here's Smith trying to be physical inside. You want to make sure, though, it's not a cheap shot physical. Here's the push-off. We saw it earlier in the game against Wilson when he knocked him to the floor. This time he got caught. Wilson with just a real tough offensive game. He's not playing with the confidence and the bounce that you usually see from him. This is a guy who was a perfect 5 for 5 from the field last night.
And a perfect 2 for 2 from the line.
Yeah.
It was the near perfect game for a guy you don't really look to for a ton of offense. They don't run plays for him. He gets his offense off of putbacks and in the flow. But it just hasn't flowed here tonight. Meanwhile, Will Whittington with his third three-pointer of the evening, and the lead is back up to 10.
And when he's missed shots, missed the dunk, turned it over, Marist is capitalized on the other end.
Popovsky uses the Wilson screen, and Stilfen really bodying up on Popovsky, who goes right after Stilfen.
Yeah, those two guys have been going at it. Remember, they were on the floor earlier, got into it. Popovsky, right after the contact, got right up in his face.
Well, Popovsky at 6'2", Stilfen at 6'8", but as mentioned, Popovsky is as tough as nails and won't back down from anybody.
Well, here he's got a mismatch as far as quickness is concerned. You see the bump not once but twice. I think he didn't like the fact that once the contact came, he slapped down at him. Stilfen just laughing it off.
Jared Jordan sees a lot of blue shirts, so he turns around figuring he's got a trailer, but Whittington couldn't hit the three. Pretty good logic if you're Jordan. You figure your teammates, since you don't see them ahead of you, they must be coming for open shots behind you. Olamati with the reverse, and the junior from Toronto, Ontario is on the board. Cuts it back to an 8-point ball game. Tough pass from Jordan, and Matty knocks it away, so the Griffs off another forced turnover with a chance to cut it down to 5, but Harris couldn't do it.
And then Wilson can't do it either. Again, he's been around the basketball. just has not been able to make a play. If they were getting anything from him, it would be a different game. He's missed a wide open dunk. He just doesn't have it tonight.
And so Mike McDonald takes him out, and you can see with the hand on his forehead, he is really fighting himself right now.
And Mike McDonald goes right to him, trying to be positive because he knows they're going to have to get something for Wilson. They don't have enough depth, and he's a guy that can score it inside. Shake it off, get back in, and play with some energy.
Yeah, you can play a lousy first 27 minutes, but we still got 13 to go.
Yeah, I mean, the way this game is going, you figure that Marist is up by 15-20. Not the case, although that stretches it right back out to a double-digit lead, and that was a deep three from Jordan.
Jordan and Whittington both with 9 points each, all on three-point shots.
Last year, Matt Brady kept saying he was trying to beg Jordan to take some more shots. Doesn't have to beg him anymore. Now he's starting to look for his own shot as well as finding his teammates.
Well, he's no longer an underclassman. He's a junior captain. He and Hood are the two captains. And he has played like a captain in every way so far this year. Chuck Harris commits his first foul, and it's only the third against the Golden Griffins in the second half. Only 4 have been called against Marist here in the second half.
And Mike McDonald trying to switch things up and try and keep Marist off balance offensively. They go zone.
Hood mishandles the pass. Whittington with a long pass back out to Jordan. 8 minutes into the second half. Whittington trying to make it his 4th three-pointer, but he misses badly. Shovel pass to Brett Wackerly, who does a nice job getting it, finding Harris, and he lays it in with a chance for a three-point play.
A great catch by Wackerly, and then a great catch and finish by Harris out on the break.
I'm telling you, with a timeout called, I like what we've seen out of Brett Wackerly the last 2 nights. He handles the ball nicely, saves a turnover, and creates a potential three-point play. 46-37, Marist lead is down to 9.
What was most interesting about those papers?
The biggest thing I think is that NU is a lot more challenging.
The topic for today's class is going to be community policing.
They have high expectations, but I think it helps you, prep for the real world.
I've been teaching the DARE program.
They give you a chance to actually talk to professionals in that field. You know you're going to end up somewhere great because they've given you what you need to succeed. I would like to get my master's here at NU, and then I want to be in the FBI. High hopes, huh? My name is Asha. My school is Niagara University.
Canisius trails 46-37, 11:54 left to go in the second half. And as we celebrate the 25-year anniversary of the MAAC, let's take a look back at a great moment in Canisius college history.
The 1956 Golden Griffins beat second-ranked NC State in a 4-overtime thriller in the opener of the NCAA tournament. Fran Corcoran hit the winning shot with time running out, and ESPN.com named the game the 6th biggest upset prior to the 2003 tournament, and it was the first quadruple overtime game in tournament history.
And while last night's heroics by John Popovsky won't quite rank up with knocking off NC State 50 years ago, last night's is going to be one of those that I'm sure people around the Griffs program will be talking about for years to come.
Anytime you hit a buzzer beater to get your team into the next round of the MAAC tournament, certainly people are going to remember it for a while. He's seen a lot of memories in 18 years here at Canisius. Has Mike McDonald, 9 as the head coach and 9 as an assistant.
A chance for a three-point play for Chuck Harris, the junior from Detroit. Can't do it, and the rebound pulled down by Ben Farmer.
Harrison's given Canisius plenty of opportunities to get themselves back into this game, but every time they've had opportunities, Canisius has shot themselves in the foot.
Smith for 3. And Whittington over the back commits the foul.
Marist has not played very well here tonight, even though they have the 9-point lead. Matt Brady's team that had been playing some of its best basketball coming down the stretch. Blowout win at home against Niagara. Going on the road in their last game to beat Fairfield. Three-point shot certainly a little bit better here in the second half for both teams.
Olamati had it knocked away, able to get it back out to Wackerly. 12 to shoot. Now down to 5. Harris is going to have to chuck it up. Instead, he goes to Maddie, who fires. And it's off the mark. Anthony Bird, nice job on the offensive glass. And the layup.
But those are the kind of energy plays that you need to make if you're going to get yourself back on a run. Down by 7. Let's see if they can back it up here with a couple stops in the 1-3-1. The danger of playing this against Marist is their ball movement and those diagonal passes.
Jordan's jump pass to Farmer into the corner for Whittington. It rims out.
And that's the toughest place to defend out of the 1-3-1 in those deep corners. Threes from the corner.
Harris bowls his way to the basket, off the window and in.
And just like that, as poorly as they have played, Canisius has the lead down to 5, and Matt Brady's got to call a timeout to try and break this run.
Mike McDonald's club showing life here in the second half after being down 10 at the intermission.
Well, they've found life off the bench. Maddie stepping out deep here, doesn't get the basket. But Joe Young fighting for inside position against Whittington, able to sneak it in. Bird, the guy giving him energy here off the bench. We'll be right back. The lead down to 5 on the MAAC Television Network.
What are you looking for in a college? Cutting-edge academic programs, a faculty that's second to none, great recreational opportunities and residence halls? How about a college that will provide you with the education you need to become a leader in your profession and in your community? If that's what you're looking for in a college, you'll find it at Canisius. To learn more about Canisius College, call 1-800-843-1517 or visit us on the web at canisius.edu. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
This is the closest score we have had since 2:46 left in the first half when it was 25-19. Now it's 46-41, and Mike McDonald's club shooting a little bit better as the overall numbers start to creep up. And actually, at the moment, the Griffs are out shooting at Marist 42% to 41%.
Well, now they're starting to guard some people. And early on, Marist was able to knock down shots consistently. The zone defense for Canisius has given them problems. Forces another turnover.
We've got ourselves a ball game here.
Well, that's not Wilson. Instead, it's Bird, the guy who's given them a little bounce inside in the post. Wilson with an off night. Bird has come off the bench to give them a lift.
Bird, as you see, with 8 points.
And they stay in the 1-3-1. Mike McDonald talked about it earlier today. He said, at times you're afraid to play them zone, but it was the zone late in the game last year in the MAAC tournament that got them the 2-point win against these Red Foxes.
With 10 on the shot clock, a big 3 from the left wing by Ben Farmer.
And that's why you've got him in the game, another shooter to attack the zone. Spread them out, skip the basketball over top, and have three-point shooters step into it.
Foul against Maddie.
Oh, my goodness. That is an awful call. It's a ball handoff. Mike McDonald is visibly upset on the other sideline, and rightfully so. That was a handoff right there. Contact on it. You never get that call. And you see right there, you can read lips. It was an awful call.
Coach McDonald, though, while continuing to argue with the officials, continues to encourage his team. Because his team has momentum right now. Are you going to say it?
You got it. Give me a Stephen A. Smith on this one. This is the one that gives him the call. And certainly Farmer goes down hard, but Maddie's not moving. That's on a ball handoff. You never, ever see that call. And that's why ball handoffs can be so successful. See Matt Brady unhappy throwing his arms up as well. That's why the Princeton offense uses those ball handoffs that become screens.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's Pepsi Slam of the game. And it comes off the Marist turnover. Anthony Bird delivering our Pepsi Slam of the game. Pepsi, it's the cola.
And the turnover against the 1-3-1 turned into a big bucket at the other end.
And Anthony Bird, who has not gone to the free throw line much this year, he was 3 for 3 in the regular season, looks very good at the line here. In the postseason, it's back to a 4-point game.
And this from a guy that averages just a little over 1 point per game. So certainly he's been a big lift for the Griffs, especially with the poor play tonight of Wilson.
Now Bird 4 for 5 from the floor, nearing his career high of 13. He's got 10. Whittington with a big answer.
And perfect inside out. Smith scored it at will in the first half at times in the low post. This time they pound it inside. He gets doubled, kicks it out to find the open man. Double off others. Do not allow Whittington to find an open spot outside.
Downey nearly tied up, then misses the shot in close. Farmer the big rebound.
He loves that step through. He shows the basketball and then steps through, using his body to shield himself against the defender.
Under 8 minutes left in regulation. 52-45, whistling a foul off the ball against James Smith of the Red Foxes. Timeout on the floor, 52-45. Smith and the Red Foxes trying to hold on with a spot in the semis on the line.
St. Peter's College, success is a team effort. St. Peter's College, education one student at a time.
Welcome back to Albany. Marist trying to fend off Canisius here, extending the lead back out to 7 points. And when we take a look inside the play, they do a good job of playing a little inside out. Early on in the first half, Smith and Stilfen had their way in the paint. Now all of a sudden with the zone defense, you get collapsing players. Good movement by Whittington to get himself out to the three-point line. Steps up and knocks it down. Even though he was backing up, had his balance, and it's been the three-point shot that has certainly kept Marist in it here and kept their lead in the second half.
And they've been keeping that lead and extending it in the last couple of minutes, because they've been knocking down the three. 6 out of 10 in the second half from beyond the arc, and all 6 of their field goals in this second half from beyond the three-point line, including Will Whittington. All 4 of his field goals, three-point variety. He's got 12 points to lead the way.
And when you can establish that inside game early, score it in there, now all of a sudden kick it back out, that's why you get some good open looks from 3.
Marist, as you see, has taken only 3 shots this half inside the three-point line. That's hard to believe.
Especially the way they dominated inside in the first half. With Smith and Stilfen having their way, but changing defenses now. Canisius back to the man-to-man.
Whittington winds up on the floor, and the foul called against Canisius, and it goes against Ola Matty, the 6'7" junior from Toronto. That's now, the 4th on Matty.
And let's see what Wilson can do now. He's had plenty of time to sit down. He's got to step back in here, wipe out his atrocious play so far, and make sure that he gives him energy.
Here's Jared Jordan. Into Stilfen, posting Downey. And there's a rebound by Wilson.
And still no 2-point field goals for the Red Foxes.
Harris can't get the roll from 17. Jordan tries to save, but his sneaker was standing on the green baseline here at the Pepsi Arena.
And look who's involved again. It's Bird getting after it on the offensive glass. Tracking shots down, keeping it alive.
Downey and Popovsky in the backcourt with Wilson, Bird, and Harris. Downey Back out to Popovsky. 7 minutes left in regulation. Popovsky with the left-hand reverse, and there's Darnell Wilson, active, crashing the boards, and he picks up his first basket on the tip-in.
And good for him, hanging in there, sitting on the bench after having a real tough start tonight. That's a big bucket right there because he brought the energy.
And it's back to a 5-point game, 52-47. Smith from the foul line. And there's another answer for Marist.
And Wilson gambled and got beat. Thought he had an opportunity to come up with the steal. Instead, it turned into a wide-open easy two for Smith.
Wilson off the up fake, lost the dribble, and nothing coming easily still. Harris had it partially blocked by Smith, and Whittington comes down with it for Marist. Jared Jordan behind the back, shovel past Whittington. Farmer open for three.
And Mike McDonald may need a timeout right now. His team has used a lot of energy to cut this lead down. It now stretches back out to 10, and indeed he does.
So a quick 5-0 run by Marist puts it back to a 10-point lead.
Well, out in transition, and Jared Jordan so good with the basketball. That's the way to share it. The extra pass gets a wide open look from the corner, and once again, it's the three ball. Marist, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the MAAC over the last 2 years under Matt Brady, and certainly it's been the long ball that has kept them going here tonight.
Well, for Canisius, when you talk about transition defense, you can understand why they recognize Whittington and say, get out on him, which is what they did.
Yep.
But when Farmer's in the corner, wide open, he's a 55% shooter from the three-point land. So it's pick your poison, and I can certainly, again, understand why you'd choose to defend Whittington over Farmer, but that's a tough choice either way.
And Farmer's hit a couple big baskets here tonight. Early on, they were struggling against the zone. He got a big shot over on the left wing, and with his ability to shoot it, he's another guy that Matt Brady would like to see step up and be a little bit more aggressive and find some more shots for himself.
Fidelis Care is proud to sponsor the Fidelis Care family section. Fidelis Care providing free or low-cost health insurance to all New Yorkers through the Child and Family Health Plus programs. And we appreciate those of you still with us here on FSN as round 2 of the 2006 MAAC tournament winds to a close. Just under 6 minutes remaining in regulation, and Marist trying to join Iona in tomorrow night's semifinals. Well, Marist actually got a 2-point bucket here in the second half. Imagine that.
Snuck one in there, but it's the 7 threes certainly that have been the story. Downey's the guy every time it looks like Canisius is about to fold up 10. Steps up and makes a play.
He now has 14 points.
Good use of the timeout there by Mike McDonald to try and break the run, break momentum, and then set things up for a good half-court offensive possession for his team.
Smith calling for the ball with Wilson guarding. Out of the double team, he gives to Jordan, who kicks it back out. Good defense by Canisius. Jordan has just enough space to get off the three.
Little roll reversal right there. Will Whittington, the guy getting himself into the lane, kick it out for the wide open three for Jordan.
Under 5 minutes to go. Smith is going to be called for the foul, trying to hedge out on Downey. And so Downey will shoot a 1-and-1.
Here's that roll reversal. Whittington into the lane, leaving his feet. I mean, he looked like Jared Jordan on that.
Right.
And Jordan looked like Whittington stepping right into that three.
Jordan with 12, Whittington with 12. Each have only hit 4 3-point shots.
But the way they've shot the three here in the second half has been the story. We said one of the keys coming in for Canisius was to defend the three. They did that in the first half. They just didn't play any offense in the first half. The second half, they have not defended the arc.
Stilfen with the rebound, and he has had a big game on the glass. He's close to a double-double. He's already into double figures in rebounds. He's got 9 points to go along with the 10 rebounds. Jordan bats it back out to Whittington, and Jordan comes back out. The Red Foxes will work some more time off the clock with an 11-point lead.
And here's where they're really dangerous. Skilled players that can stretch out. You got to go chase them in their half-court offense. just got to wonder if Canisius has used too much energy in this comeback, whether or not they've got another burst of energy here.
Farmer has it rattle out. Wilson the rebound for the Golden Griffins. Less than 4 minutes on the clock. Downey misses the three. Smith knocks the ball out of bounds, and he's called for the foul coming over the back. Jared Jordan and the Red Foxes closing in on a spot in the MAAC semifinals. 3:47 to go. The lead is 11.
This is Siena, a college that builds competence and character, where you're part of a team, a place at a time.
The Canisius Golden Griffins looking for a little bit more magic here tonight. Let's turn back the clock about 24 hours and 20 minutes ago when the Griffs pulled out a fantastic finish to earn the spot here in the second round.
And it was their seniors stepping up and making big plays. Kevin Downey going backdoor on the receiving end of a terrific pass. This time he was the guy that initiated it with a terrific pass. That's the way the game ended. Canisius coming away with a very dramatic and apparently draining win last night. You got to wonder whether or not, with that tough game coming down the stretch and Popovsky's layup at the buzzer, whether or not that zaps some of the energy out of Mike McDonald's team. Earlier today he said hopefully we can use that and build upon that, some momentum, use the adrenaline, but it looks like maybe that game took a little bit out. Didn't look like they had a whole lot of gas left in their tank here tonight.
Well, they fell into a 7-0 hole right off the bat, although you've still got to believe if you're Canisius, those are the t-shirts that the team has been wearing for the last month or so, and you know, they fell behind 7-0, did get back to make it 9-9, but for the most part tonight they have been trying to play catch-up.
And it takes a lot of energy to play from behind. Certainly Mike McDonald's team had a couple opportunities to pack it in. They didn't do that, playing off the energy and confidence of their coach.
Whittington calls the timeout as he was falling out of bounds, and so the Red Foxes will keep possession.
That's a good use of the timeout there, especially in the second half. You're only up by 9. Don't want to give away the possession. Sometimes people take it too early.
There you see what's remaining in this 2006 MAAC basketball tournament. Tomorrow in the semifinals, St. Peter's will take on Manhattan. The Peacocks knocked out the 4th-seeded Siena Saints earlier tonight. And then Iona is awaiting the winner of this one. And then, of course, it'll all come together Monday night, 9 o'clock on ESPN2. And you can learn more about the MAAC tournament and about the league itself as it celebrates its 25th anniversary on MAACsports.com. That's MAAC sports.com. We talked about Mike McDonald's long tenure at Canisius College, 9 years as an assistant, 9 years as a head coach, and he has coached the 3rd most games in the history of the school. He's got Nick McCarchick ahead of him, and then Bob McKinnon ahead of him. But he has been around with Canisius for their entire tenure in the MAAC. They joined the MAAC in 1989, and Coach McDonald has been a familiar face on that sideline.
18 years here at Canisius, and certainly you can't find a better guy in the business than Mike McDonald.
No doubt about that. 1988 St. Bonaventure grad. He's from Connecticut. He's a New England guy, but he has spent his entire adult life out in Western New York. There's a good look at Mike. This club looking for its 10th win of the season. They were picked to finish much better in the preseason poll than they did, and it just never quite came together. And again, they are playing without their second leading scorer here this weekend, Corey Herring, who missed the last 3 games of the regular season with a sprained left foot. And they tried and hoped with all the treatment that he might be able to get himself healthy enough to make the trip from Buffalo here to Albany this weekend, but it just never came to be.
Especially at home. They struggled, lost a couple games early on, and then lost their confidence at home in the Kessler Center.
Jordan out of bounds. He's saying he was forced out. Either way, it is a turnover back to the Golden Griffins.
So they wasted 2 timeouts here late. Coming off that second timeout, you see Jordan just got himself a little too wide. Not where you want to inbound the basketball in the Coffin corner. against the zone pressure.
And so down 9, Canisius still with some life. Over 3.5 minutes to go.
Well, those T-shirts,
gotta believe.
You have it left in you. You're going to have to knock down a couple threes and some good bounces.
Tug McGraw couldn't have said it better himself. Wilson again can't get the roll. Stilfen with a rebound.
You got to believe if you can't finish inside, you're not going to make up the 9-point difference.
And Jordan content to just walk it across the midcourt stripe here at the Pepsi Arena.
And again, they'll be content to spread the floor and force people to go chase him.
Anthony Bird trying to chase Jordan. Hood lost the dribble. Popowski piles on as you would expect him to. And the possession arrow in favor of Marist.
He said he was a teammate of Vince Young. Looked at like it here. Wilson, who's just had a tough night. I mean, this is a guy, again, who has had a very solid junior year. 60% for the floor. Just didn't have it tonight. Not the same bounce and energy and athleticism that we're used to seeing from Darnell Wilson.
Kevin Downey called for his second personal foul. And so now Marist in the bonus, and so Ryan Stilfen at the foul line looking to get himself a double-double.
Yeah, Stilfen had a big first half, has been dead silent here in the second.
Missed it, so he won't get a chance at the bonus, and Canisius down 9 with another chance under 3 minutes to go.
They've been a cat all night long. I mean, how many lives do they have?
Popowski hits the big 3, and it's a 6-point ball game.
Well, down by 9. Do they have 9 lives? A couple of threes, and who knows?
I wouldn't say no just yet.
No, still plenty of time. 2:41 left. The lead down to 6. They still have 2 timeouts left, and their ability to knock down threes will certainly be the key coming down the stretch. They still believe, especially with their seniors. You know, Downey and Popowski, guys that can step up and make big shots, and you got to believe if they're going to make up the difference that those 2 guys are going to have to carry them, especially from beyond the 3.
Well, we saw a huge comeback late in the season at St. Peter's, down in a game where it looked like Canisius was dead in the water. They forced overtime, and it was Downey and Popowski who did that and then took care of business in overtime. We saw them both step up last night in the first round. And trying to do it again here tonight as we show you graphically what we've been talking about. Also was a grad assistant. He has been with the Golden Griffins, a staple, for the better part of 2 decades.
Now trying to chase Jared Jordan. And I don't know if you need to give up the foul there. Still plenty of time. Just need a couple solid defensive possessions. Shorten the game instead. You'll foul Jordan and send him to the line. You mentioned it earlier, Doug. Surprisingly, this Marist team with all their skilled players, not necessarily a terrific foul shooting team, come into the game at just 68%.
Jordan is a 75% foul shooter, but guys like Stilfen and Smith not so good. And Jordan able to get his own miss. And a reach-in foul against Popowski.
And once again, Canisius, door open. But instead of kicking it open and keeping it there, they allow Marist to get themselves back to the line.
Third foul on Popowski and number 9 against Canisius. Jordan with more turnovers than assists, and that's a rarity. I mean, it's more common that you see a game where he's got 13 assists and 1 turnover. This is quite a departure from the norm for Jared Jordan.
And right from the start had 3 quick turnovers for Matt Brady's team. Matt Brady unhappy. Sitting down, not a guy that necessarily is going to always show you exactly how he feels, but certainly this has not been his team's best performance.
Jordan with a couple of foul shots. He's now got 14, 62-54.
Good switch out by Stilfen, and good job to stay on his feet, not allow the contact.
Dangerous pass, and Canisius and John Popowski fortunate that there was a foul committed inside by Ben Farmer.
And fortunate that it'll stop the clock as well. Opportunity to cut the lead back down to 6 and make it a 2-possession game. Popowski gets himself caught. There's the solid defense by Stilfen on the ball. late on the cut, trailing. And the bump against Bird.
Anthony Bird, as we said, had only been to the line 3 times this year before tonight. But he looks good at it again. Well, this season, Aeropostal will donate an article of clothing for every free throw made during conference play. And at the end of the season, Aeropostal and the MAAC will distribute these clothes to youth groups in our communities. Thank you very much, Aeropostal.
Made foul shot. Canisius will get up in the full court pressure. Remember, Marist really struggled to inbound it last time against the press. Once they break the press, though, if you're Canisius, no need to foul. With 2:16 left right now, you need to come up with the stop at the defensive end. Don't bail them out and put them to the line.
Anthony Bird having a big night off the bench. 12 points on 4 of 5 shooting and 4 for 4 from the line.
Now out of the full court pressure, Wilson, their center, will have to come out and try to defend Jordan out on the perimeter. That's a tough assignment for anybody.
Under 2 minutes left in regulation.
And wisely, they don't foul here. Instead, they're going to force Marist to try and score late in the shot clock.
Shot clock at 4, so Jordan lets loose. And Young the rebound, and here he comes. The Golden Griffins on the move. Wilson couldn't get it. Stilpen came over his back and no call, and here come the Red Foxes back the other way.
And a tough break right there for Canisius. Clearly, contact on that. Down by 6, you need to get that call.
So this allows Marist to work some more time off the clock. Jordan spins into the lane, right to the basket, missed it. Wilson the rebound, long outlet up ahead, Young. He spins to the basket. It deflects back to Wilson, who shovels it to Young, who lays it in this time, and just under 1 minute to go. It is a 4-point game.
Well, certainly took a long time to develop, but they're still alive. Down by 4 with just under a minute to play. Here was this tough play. They didn't finish. Young going hard to the basket. Looked like some contact. Unable to finish it, but here on the mad scramble, this time Young makes sure that he does finish it inside, and the lead's back down to 4.
And that time you see the center playing point guard, getting into a guard inside for the layup. Darnell Wilson picking up the assist, and Young with his energy helps the Griffs get back within 4.
And again, still enough time. If you don't get something in the full court pressure, you can settle back in and play the defensive possession all the way through. Or down by 4, you can give up the foul, try and force Marist to go to the line and finish it off.
They still believe. Canisius back within 4. Joe Young's layup has gotten it as close as it's been since the first half.
And they've shortened the game now down to a 1-minute game. A couple possessions behind. They've got to get something here with their pressure. Smart play right there. You can run the baseline. You can also throw it along the baseline after a make. Well, that was a dangerous pass right there, and then they give up the foul to Whittington when he catches it. 79% foul shooter, so if you're Marist, that's one of the guys who you want the ball in his hands coming down the stretch.
Well, at that point, the only bad foul shooter for Marist on the floor was Ryan Stilfen, and he never touched the basketball.
Now ran down to the baseline to stay away from it.
Whittington now with 13 points. And that kind of sums up what we've been talking about, that they're next to last in the league in foul shooting, in spite of the fact that they've got some terrific perimeter shooters, including their big guys who are pretty good perimeter shooters.
Well, absolutely. Now, if you're Canisius down by 6, you got to start thinking about threes.
Harris missed the easy 2. Popovsky puts it up from 3, can't get the roll. Wilson tips it back out. Popovsky again. It's off the mark, and Farmer is fouled by Wilson.
A couple opportunities there for Canisius, down by 6. Popovsky had a couple good looks at it to cut it down to a one-possession game. Mike McDonald's team certainly has hung in there, just haven't been able to get over the hump. There's the first good clean look by Popovsky, and then he gets another one. That was the second one in that possession, but they just have not been able to make the plays they needed to. Had a couple opportunities, just could not convert.
And now they could use a little help from the free throw line. Farmer obliges on that one. This copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC. Farmer does get the second, 1 out of 2. Matt Brady's club on top, 65-58. Farmer with 11 points tonight for Marist. Downey driving to the basket, lays it in. Stilfen kind of let him go, and then a quick timeout called by Canisius. Downey has 16 points to lead the Golden Griffins, and they are back within 5.
Well, still keeping hope alive, trying to play every possession coming down the stretch. To make up the 5-point deficit, though, you've got to get a steal off the inbounds with the full court pressure.
Mike McDonald talking to his club, hoping that this is not the end of the line. It is win or go home in the MAAC tournament. And for a team with an overall record of 9-19, certainly this would be it if they can't pull a miracle out in the final 19.1. And it is now Sunday morning here on the East Coast. 12:01 in Albany. And still a number of hearty souls hanging around, including behind us a whole bunch of fans from Poughkeepsie. We are in Albany, about an hour north of Poughkeepsie, the home of the Red Foxes. This is Doug Sherman along with Rob Kennedy. We're glad you're still with us at home, checking out a little MAAC tournament action. We'll be back with you tomorrow evening with the men's semifinals. Foul given before the inbound. Harris had Whittington in a bear hug. And so Whittington, who is a 79% foul shooter, will go to the line. And Whittington is a perfect 2 for 2 so far tonight. And you have a nice profile look of our Pepsi player of the game, Will Whittington.
Well, certainly not one guy who has stood out for Marist. He's their leading scorer with 15. Hit a couple big threes in the stretch after Canisius got themselves back into the game. 5 assists as well. As we said, no player for Marist really stood out tonight. Jared Jordan, their star, part of our Star Watch, did not have one of his better games for Matt Brady.
Nonetheless, they've got a 7-point lead in the waning seconds. Downey for 3. That's Chuck Harris, and he gets the roll. A dozen for Harris, and a quick whistle. With 7.9 on the clock, the Marist College fans singing "Na na na, hey hey hey, goodbye." Well, the three-point shooting of the Red Foxes, led by Will Whittington, in the second half was the way that the Red Foxes kept the Golden Griffins at bay.
Yeah, first half it was their inside play that got things going, and clearly in the second half it was the long ball led by Whittington. Whittington finishing the game off here from the foul line coming down the stretch. But Marist moves on in what should be a very good matchup in the semifinals against Iona. Two teams with differing styles, but two of the teams coming into this that people thought certainly had a chance to walk out with the championship.
Bird misses the 3, and that's the ball game. The Marist Red Foxes improve to 19-9, and they move on to the semifinals of the MAAC tournament.
And certainly not the best game that Matt Brady's team has played, but that doesn't matter. The most important thing is to survive and advance, and they will advance on into the semifinals tomorrow against Iona. Two entertaining matchups there tomorrow, Doug.
You got Keedron Clark and the Peacocks against the number 1 seeded Manhattan Jaspers to get things started tomorrow night. We hope you can join us. 6 o'clock. We'll be back with you. The Red Foxes will take on Iona. Our final score in this nightcap, Marist 68 and Canisius 62. Any final thoughts, Rob?
No, just that we've got good matchups coming down into the semifinals tomorrow. Pretty much as expected. The Peacocks a bit of an upset, but when you got Kiki Clark, certainly not that big of an upset.
That'll do it for Rob Kennedy and our entire crew. Thanks for joining us tonight and now this morning as we've gone past the witching hour. A terrific night of basketball. Another night to come up tomorrow in the MAAC semifinals. Thanks for watching the MAAC Television Network.